It's the child, it's the kid, 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 it's the kid. Here we have it, here we have it. I know it's been late. I'm late, but always early, you know. Here it is, my team of the decade. So before you comment and you rant and rave and you scream, let me at least explain myself. Because I know people have already pressed pause, they haven't gotten a meal or a drink, and they're already saying, why isn't Zad there? Why isn't Cristiano there? Why isn't Neymar there? And all these things are fair, but I will explain why I have picked these particular players. Because this is who I feel this team can face any team and can destroy any team. And I will just give you an explanation as to why I have gone for these guys, you know, and so forth. So allow your boy to explain himself player by player. We'll break this down. And please understand where your boy is coming from. So let's just start right at the beginning. Manuel Neuer. I think that despite him in the latter part of the decade, even some would argue on the decline, Neuer right now is still arguably top 5 keepers in the world. And this is probably his lowest point that he's been in. And even at his lowest points he's been in, people can still argue that he's still probably one of the top 4 footballers in the world right now. Some of the top keepers in the world. 2012 to 2013, no, 2012 to 2014, maybe even 2015, he was undoubtedly the best keeper in the world. There was no one better than him. I think he introduced the concept of the sweeper keeper in that infamous game against Algeria. And I think ever since that game, people were like, oh my gosh, maybe the keeper can do more than just be a guy that just saves goals. And ever since then, he's really been money. So you look at how important he was to the treble-winning team of Bayern Munich. You look at how important he was to the World Cup winning of Germany in 2014. He has been a vital keeper. And I don't think that any other goalkeeper has performed higher than him through the largest part of the decade. No one has. So Neuer gets my vote. So when I look in the defense, I went with the pairing of Sergio Ramos and Giorgio Chiellini. Now, he was very easy to pick. Ramos was very easy to pick because you look at, I feel that Piqué was never a great defender. I say Piqué was carried by Puyol in Barcelona and Piqué was carried by Ramos in Spain. So Ramos, for both Spain and for Real Madrid, has been money. He was extremely vital in the 3 CL wins for Real Madrid, and he's extremely vital for Spain's 3 international trophies in a row. So, and I don't think there's been any other centre-back for the latter part of the decade that has been better than Ramos. Now, Van Dijk has just emerged in the last few years, but nobody even could spell the name Virgil van Dijk in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, and so forth. But for those years, Ramos has always been on the radar throughout. And even now, people will still argue that maybe he's top 3, top 4, top 5, even right now. So the other pairing was a tough one. You know, it was a tough one. You know, I felt that Van Dijk does not have enough of a record throughout the decade to really be put here. So I opted for Giorgio. And the reason why I opted for Giorgio is, despite him not really being money for Italy, I don't think there's been any other centre-back who has performed at a higher level than Giorgio. I don't think there's been another centre-back who has had more clutch performances, clutch plays, or man-of-the-match performances than Giorgio. The amount of times I would scream at Giorgio, I'm like, look at what Giorgio did, look at what Giorgio did. It's been insane. So, for me, I just don't think that there's been anyone that has been more money than Giorgio in this decade that we've seen. So, see now, the right back for me is easy. It's easy. So let me just talk about the left back right now. Because because the right back is easy. Lam is the best right back of all time. And Lam, I feel, is one of the best defenders of all time. Captain of Bayern Munich, captain of Germany, amazing leader, amazing tackler. Yes, I put him ahead of Maldini, and I rate Lam as one of the best defenders of all time, 100%. So, and I think within this decade, there's been nobody that has come even close to Lam. Now, people will say, what about Dani Alves? Dani Alves is great going forward. Superb going forward. Defensively, he's not great. Lam is a perfect balance of being pretty good going forward, excellent being the defensively, and also, you know what, he can say what's up by playing at the Dame, which he did really well under Pep. So for me, easy dub. Now for the left back position now, I get it. People will say, oh, wasn't Marcelo on the pitch when they got deconstructed and devalued and colonized by Germany? Is that Alemagna? Yeah. And I say yes, he was. But in terms of this position of left back, there's been no better left back for this decade. This decade. Please, in the comments below, tell me a better left back. Now, people will say, oh, what about Jessica Alba? And that'll be fair. But I don't think Jessica Alba has been more money than Marcelo. I don't think he has been more money than Marcelo. I mean, for me, if it wasn't Marcelo, Alba definitely second. Definitely second, 100%. So it was between Jessica Alba and Marcelo. But for me, I went with Marcelo because I just look at what he did for Real Madrid. And I think even if he wasn't that much money for Brazil, what he did with Real Madrid was so exceptional that I think that supersedes what Jessica Alba did for both Barcelona and for Spain. So for me, Marcelo gets that because he has been the most outstanding left back of the decade. And now we go to the midfield here. Easy. Relax, chill. Your boy Kante. Now, he was a key member in winning the Premier League for because we see now Kante is a big one because I think with a lot of these guys, let's be real, the only player on here has been money for the entire decade. There's only one player here who's been money for the entire decade. So for most of these players, it's either the first half of the decade or the second half of the decade. Like Lam was the first half of the... Well, Ramos, you could argue. See maybe Ramos, but really, Ramos was really first half... Ramos, you could argue, has been a large part of the decade. You could argue that. Giorgio, I would say maybe the first half of the decade, maybe. Lam, first half of the decade. Marcelo, maybe the second half of the decade. So, but yeah, you can see that. But only one guy has literally been like, yeah, I've owned the entire decade. So with Kante, I just think, look, man, from the moment he came onto the scene with Leicester City, with how he able to win that league title with Leicester City, win the league title for Chelsea, help be a critical member of the team that won the World Cup for France. And everyone has said, and I believe this as well, if Kante was in the team in the Euros, they would have won the Euros as well. I don't think there's any other player who can influence a team with regards to the entirety of the pitch. Where he influences here, and he influences here. As in people, any club will know that if we get a Kante, that changes the whole aspect of a team. Because some guys will, this is a great guy in the final third. Great guy that helps the midfield, a great guy in defense. Kante helps your defense, helps your midfield, helps your attack. And there is no other player in the world like him. So I just think for that, he really rules that position. And I just think, you know what? See, I originally went with Modric and Iniesta. But I said, you know what? I don't think that... Because if it's between Modric and Xavi with regards to who's really been the more prominent midfielder of the decade, I've got to go with Xavi. Then when I thought about it. Remember, this is 2010 to... Okay, I just see, look... But it's okay. Is the decade 2010 to 2020 inclusive? Screw it. It's 2010 to the end of 2019. That's just how it is. Who cares about the technicalities? So we look at that. 2010 World Cup. 2011 Champions League and La Liga. 2012 Euros. And he was a very important component in those three trophies. And I said that one of the best central midfield performances was that 2011 Champions League final when Xavi didn't lose the ball once. For 45 minutes, I don't think he misplaced a single pass for that. So, yeah, and I just think that, and for Iniesta, one of the best midfielders of his generation. And I just think that with Xavi and Iniesta, I think they pretty much just clamped down that midfield position. Now, this is a different conversation because people will say that Xavi, Iniesta versus Modric and Cruz. Who do we say? Who do we say? Because they had some pretty good battles. But as people have also pointed out, there were a lot of games in which I think when Barcelona went to the back end of Real Madrid with Xavi and Iniesta, and Barca got that ass. So for me, I think Xavi and Iniesta, they redefined how to control a game, how to maintain possession, and how to be penetrative with the possession. And I just think that, they raised the level with regards to the influence a midfield can have over 90 minutes in a game. So I just think with that, for Xavi, Iniesta, and for Kante, that is a watertight midfield. I mean, that's just, you can't get through there. Now we get to attack. Now, let's just build up. I think this is obvious. Messi. You can't have any argument about that. And as I said again, he is the only player here who has literally been out and out the best player for the decade. Now, people, I don't even want to humor people right now that will say, oh no, Messi is only a Camp Nou merchant. Oh, Messi doesn't do it for entertainment. I'm a football merchant, okay? And I look at quality of football. I argue with Messi because I'm like, he could have done more for Argentina. He still not scored a goal in the World Cup not knockout game. But in terms of his influence, whether you want to call it by records broken, goals scored, assists, how he has been the figurehead and the center point of Barcelona, how Barcelona have sort of just done amazing things throughout the decade, and him as an individual has done amazing things throughout the decade, and his performance has hardly dipped for the decade. There is without a doubt he has been the player of the decade, and there has never been a player who has been out and out, unarguably the best player for the largest part of the decade. Now, obviously, 2010, I felt Sneijder was the best player. 2013, I felt Ribery was the better player. And obviously, 2018, Modric. But apart from those 3 years, the other years, I think Messi was out and out the best player and really did deserve that award. So, and that has been hard. And even when Sneijder or Ribery were the best, I felt that Messi was probably second best. So he's either been second best or out and out the best, which is insane. We've never really seen that before. It's normally like a 3-year stint. I went with Robin. And why did I go with Robin? 2010, him along with Sneijder helped Netherlands to a surprising World Cup run that ended up in the final. I get it. He missed those chances against Casillas, but he was money in that World Cup. 2010 as well was also when he scored one of the greatest goals of all time. 2010 when he scored that amazing goal from the corner kick where he beat Van der Sar, insane goal. 2012, money, but then again, we all happened one night that happened in that final. Drogba happened in that final. Robin was destroyed after. And then Homie came back in 2013, leading that Bayern treble and being one of the key players in a treble-winning season and scoring the winning goal in that final. The second greatest redemption story, the greatest redemption story, of course, was Ronaldo in 2002. Second best redemption story was Robin in that 2012-2013 final. And then 2014, this guy almost single-handedly dragged an average Holland team to another World Cup final. Incredible. People forget, and I always say that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, because I'm here just to remind people of things that they want to forget and sweep under the rug. That Holland team was average. It was average, and they were not expected to go anywhere near that final, or even the semi. But the way that Robin almost got into that final, if it wasn't for Mascherano splitting his asshole open for that tackle, Holland would be playing a final against Germany, and who knows what would have happened. So for me, I just felt for Robin, I have to just say that for him, he has to be in this team of the decade. What he did in that first half of the decade was just too exemplary and too money. And I think, I'll say it again, there's been never a player like him. There's never been a player like him. And this is the one that's going to get people's blood boiling. Lewandowski. Now, I know exactly what you're going to type. I know what you're going to type. He's been crap for Poland. He has underperformed in the Champions League. How many Champions Leagues has he been able to win? How many Champions Leagues has he really shown up in, especially within a semi or a final? And the people say, look at Cristiano and everything. But remember, this is my formation. And in this formation, I need a striker in this formation. Cristiano Ronaldo is not a striker. And I can't put Cristiano ahead of Messi. That can't happen. I can't put Cristiano ahead of Robin. I can't happen. And I think for this formation that I have here, Messi and Robin are vital. And Messi and Robin have to play in this formation, which I think will be effective here. So for this, I need a striker, but I need a ball-playing striker who can play well with Messi and Robin. If I put Cristiano here, Cristiano cannot work well with Messi and Robin because he's not a ball-playing striker. Because Cristiano is an amazing goal scorer, one of the best goal scorers we've ever seen. But his footballing technicalities won't work well with Messi and Robin. And for Lewandowski, I understand it. Understand his lack of achievements. Understand him failing in many of these Champions Leagues. But for me, he has out and out been the best striker of the decade. He has been. And as I said, he's been the closest thing that I've seen to Ronaldo with regards to a striker who is like a footballer. When Ronaldo came along, strikers were just goal scorers. That was it. Ronaldo came and redefined how you saw strikers, similar to how Beckenbauer redefined how you saw defenders and how Neuer came along and redefined how you saw what goalkeepers could do. And I think for Lewandowski, he's just a guy where this guy is just a quality football player that has all the skills, ball control, dribbling, everything. And I just feel and I believe that he has been the best striker of the decade. So that's why I put him in here. So with Lewandowski, Messi, Robin, so this is my team of the decade. And look, man, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. I'm willing to have an open, fair conversation here that is nice and civil. But these are my arguments, and I feel that with this team, I think this team is money, because I think in Ramos and Giorgio, you have your ball-playing the defender, and you have your rugged, thugged-out defender. Thou shalt not pass with Neuer. In both Lam and and even if Marcelo may be iffy defensively, we know how good Kante is at corners. So you have both Kante and Ramos that can cover very well with their intelligence and reading of the game. And for Lam, we good. We good right here, baby. We good. Because he will support Robin very well. And remember, Lam and Robin already have that link from Bayern Munich, and we already know that defensively he'll be money. This midfield is going to be superb. They won't lose possession. They are going to be perfect in the transition. Will be money in the counter-attack, and this midfield will dominate any single team. Every single team. So this midfield can defend, they can tackle, they can keep the ball, they can pass, they can dribble. There's every single thing you want in this midfield. And my lord, this attack will lubricate everybody. Because the way in which Messi and Robin could work together, Messi been given off the free role, because you could even have this. You could actually even have something like this where he's been given the free role, and you have Robin as one attacking dude here and Lewandowski as one attacking dude here. But the fact of how, even if you were to have this and Lewandowski coming in deep and playing alongside Messi and Robin, I just think their combinations and their interplay is something that would be absolutely orgasmic. So I just think this team, for me, will be fully 100% money, man. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Here's my team. Hope you can comment below and let's just have an open discussion about this team of the decade. Your boys out. Become a Football Hut member and gain access to cool emojis on the live streams and get access to new YouTube content by clicking the join button here. And to view that new content, head over to the YouTube channel homepage and click on the community tab over here.